My name is Erin Mellinger, and I am the owner of Axio Fitness.
Sweet. How did you, come up with wanting to open it?
Well, I would say I was in the personal training industry since college. I was a trainer in college and out of college for a while, and so I've always been in the industry. And I had business owner clients, and I wanted to be them. That was part of it. And I also saw that there was a lot of perks to being a personal trainer, but there were also a lot of things that you don't realize before getting into it. You get into personal training because you're passionate about transforming lives, but then there's, like anything, a lot of pros and cons. So I wanted to try to do a business model where maybe we could tackle some of those cons.
Okay. What sparked your interest in fitness and health?
Well, I would say what sparked it was being in sports. So okay. I loved the challenge of, just bettering myself athletically. I loved being in the weight room while I was in high school and college. I fell in love with it that way. But to be honest, I think it sparked my interest, and it made me want to, do that for a living, where I just lived in the gym and got to work people out and help them feel good and look good. But since then, being in the industry for 22 years now, it has become more about the lifestyle change and the big picture, and less about pant size and everything. So my mindset and everything is very different than it was, when I first got into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say that the journey started when I got certified in college, and then started to take on a few clients at the local YMCA and a couple in-home clients and everything. So that's really what started it. And then when I graduated college, I actually graduated with a degree in education. So I became licensed to teach. So that was a fun conversation with my parents when it was like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to teach. I want to be a personal trainer. And they're like, what? It was a lot less common back then. So, yeah. I got my start at down the road at Creekside, a wonderful place. And then I got a lot of great experience there. And I think I learned a lot from just other trainers there, and my manager and everything. And then also, like I said, the clients. There were a lot of clients that I thought were successful leaders and business owners, and I really tried to pick their brain and learn from them. And then I think I was young enough. I mean, when I started my first location, I was 24. So I think I didn't really understand the risk involved. Yeah. And I kind of had nothing to lose, at that time.
As most people in that age get too.
Yeah, exactly right. But it worked out. I mean, there's certainly been highs and lows. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been meaningful and fulfilling.
And I feel like that's one of the main things too. As long as you're still making the impact and getting something out of it too.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Very beneficial.
Yes. I'm so thankful. I always say I'm so blessed, but my motivation to help people and to provide careers in this industry has never wavered, amazingly. It's never been even on my worst days, I get discouraged and I think, man, what am I doing wrong? But I never think I want to go into another industry or something. I never think that.
Or go back to trying to teach.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely never think that. Yeah.
No, but then even that's common too, because I probably changed my degree how many times before, just getting fed up and being I just want to graduate.
Right. Right, exactly. That's right.
Because originally I actually wanted to be a zookeeper.
Really?
I wanted to.
I could see you doing that.
I actually wanted to be a zookeeper, so I originally started off in zoology.
Wow, no kidding.
Yep, but then I got pregnant and
that changes things sometimes, right?
Then I was I kind of need to do something that's online degree.
Yeah,
so that's how I ended up with the tech degree that I have. So.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I think that happens so often here. I mean, some of our best trainers and studio leaders and managers came from other random degrees. I mean, obviously a lot of people have exercise science degrees, but yeah, it is funny how I think at such a young age you're kind of forced to make decisions, but then you don't even realize what you're into or what's best for your lifestyle.
That is 100%, because do you figure you go to college at 18, which is what you're kind of pushed to do,
right?
And you're expected to know what you want to do,
right?
I'm 32, and I think I'm just now figuring out what I want to do. Man, I feel like I wasted so much time. Well, that's just a personal problem.
Definitely that we're not a one size fits all. I always say that Axio, or personal training in general, may not be for everybody, but for some people, it is the only thing that will work. So, and a lot of times, a lot of places are one size fits all. So they are, you go in and everybody does the same workout or the same routine that day or whatever. But for us, it's okay, we'll meet you where you're at, whatever that means, and we'll progress you. So for fitness, for nutrition, and everything. So I think the philosophy just really being the one-on-one attention and like just knowing that no matter your age, no matter your ability, we'll just meet you where you're at and we'll progress you. Yeah. And that looks different for everybody. Yeah. So, but that, and that's what true, genuine, good personal training is. So it's like we strive to be a business that continues to grow, but still not lose sight of like who we are and our approach of just everything being one-on-one.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like you'll have more of an impact that way because you're focusing on the individual person. Right,
exactly.
And what they're capable of.
Right, exactly. What they're capable of, their needs and wants. That's what we always say. That's something we say a lot, but focusing on the needs and wants. Some people, just like certain styles of exercise better than others, and some want to be pushed a little more than others and whatever. And we just try to focus on reconciling what they need based on their health and fitness levels and what they want, and hopefully making them align. So
like something even that I realized for myself is like, I would not challenge myself.
Yeah.
I don't tend to challenge myself. So these guys here definitely challenge me.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that's human nature. I'll have the trainers train me sometimes when I feel like I'm just not challenging myself. So yeah.
I wish I had more of like that, because like my husband has that where he can challenge himself. He's like, you just got to push yourself harder. And I'm like, but I guess no.
Yeah, your husband's an exception, I think. I think for the most part, all of us won't do that. But yeah,
he is.
Tell him to come work for us.
He's like, that's when you feel alive, and I'm like, okay,
that's awesome.
I'm like, you're just special, Ryan.
That's awesome.
Can you share a particularly memorable client transformation story?
There's so many, and that's really what makes it all worthwhile is. When clients pull me off to the side, and I feel like with as big as we are now, I kind of have lost touch of that personal, journey for each client. But still to this day, some people will pull me off to the side and say, this is exactly what I needed. I've tried everything. And then I came to you guys and I finally lost weight. I'm down 38 pounds or whatever. And sadly, I don't always know that. So like, thank you for telling me. That's awesome. But yeah, I'd say someone who's still a client, she really stands out. Janet is her name, but I remember when she was considering joining Axio and I was giving her a tour, and there was another woman about her age in her 50s doing push-ups, and Janet saying, I know I'm never going to be able to do that, but I want to just be able to do something. I don't want to be, whatever, like not independent in 10 years or whatever, that sort of thing. And then, she can do every variation of push-up imaginable, you know what I mean? And she can do sprints on the treadmill and everything. So I think that, weight loss, is one thing that a lot of people come to us for. And we have a lot of weight loss stories, which is great. But it's also great to see like that even in 50, 60-year-old men and women, there's that inner athlete, and they can really do things that they don't know they're capable of if they just stay consistent and stay with it for a while. So I love those stories. But yeah, she still comes. She still does really amazing things for her age, and she always does it with a smile on her face, and she always says like, I love it here, I love it. She'll tell other new clients and stuff, just stay with it, you'll love it. But it's really cool to see that she comes and she works hard, and she impresses all of us.
That's great, because I hope that I can stick with it and at least be able to stay. I want to be mobile, right? When I get there.
That's right. That's right.
I do not want to turn into a vegetable.
I know. Well, that's it. Like, that's what I always say. It's a lifestyle change. So I always say, forget about those next 10 pounds. Where do you want to be in 10 years or 20 years? You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. So, and especially for our clientele who tend to be a lot of times that baby boomer generation or a little bit younger, but it's like, okay, you're 50. Where do you want to be when you're 70? Yeah. You have to start moving now. So, but honestly, I think our culture, our clients, whatever, everybody's getting more aware of that it isn't just about looking good in pant size. I mean, sure, people want to lose that quick weight for a wedding or something like that, a reunion, but at the same time, I think they know like that this is important for longevity.
Yes,
so
for sure.
Quality 100%. Of life. Yeah. Yeah. Wait 10 years of Axio for you. You'll be doing handstand push-ups pretty soon.
Oh gosh. I can't even do a push-up. See, I'm Janet at that point. You can't do a push-up.
Yes. So don't think you'll never be able to, because you will.
I know.
You'll be cranking them out soon.
Because like even like right here still kind of well, the stretch, man. I will be like the spokesperson for that because like that's awesome.
Yes, it's very stretching. Adding that stretch therapy into your routine is good for, obviously alleviates like the pain of soreness, but it's actually really good for recovery. So you work out hard yesterday and then you come in so sore today and get stretched. By tomorrow, your muscles will have recovered faster and you'll be able to just work out that much harder again. So it's really good with progress when people can do that.
Because even like right after it, I was walking less gimpy.
It's true.
Because I called my mom and I was like, oh my God, Mom. I was like, my shoulders.
That's awesome. I heard Ryan was, I heard you guys in there, and I heard him talking a lot about your sore shoulders and everything, and he was focusing on that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, definitely like my hamstrings. Like my hamstrings are still a little bit tight, but they're not as tight, which is why I wasn't walking as gimpy. Like when I'm getting out of my car, it's not as
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'm not like groaning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how we should advertise stretch therapy. You won't walk like a gimp or groan, right?
Oh, we could do that. We could film me getting out of my car.
There we go, exactly.
That is an idea. What are your specialties or unique training methods that set you apart?
You know, I'm somewhat removed from the training room now, so, and I do miss that too. But I would say when I was training the most, I think what would set me apart is that I could really, really push people in a way that I think motivated them. So, and I used to love getting into that. So it'd be like, they'd be like doing push-ups or something, and they'd be like, I don't have 3 more. You know, I'm not one to like stand over and scream at them and spit on them like whatever. Bob and Julian, I don't know if you remember The Biggest Loser, but the trainers that scream at you. It was a popular TV show back in the day.
I remember.
But in just kind of a subtle way, you know, like, hey, I'm making you stronger today. Last workout, you did 10 push-ups. We're going for 13 today. Just squeeze it out, like whatever, and just really motivating them. And you can see them like lock in and focus and like actually get, you know, work hard or whatever. I feel like that was something that I loved and that I think people appreciated about me. And I do miss that. Sometimes I'm still walking by the room and trying to just chime in on what's going on a little bit, add that. But I think that that's something that I didn't do at first as a trainer, but then with years of experience, you get more comfortable at it. And then it's also like, you realize that that is an aspect of it. You know, part of it is programming. So many trainers get wrapped up in the programming. So Sally client has a bad knee and these are their goals, and they kind of focus really on the exercises, which is extremely important. But then there's that kind of that intangible of that clients also need, of just being motivated and pushed, and then being able to make the best use of that workout. So
it does make a big difference. Because like even with myself, like that extra, like, oh, you got 10 more seconds, and you're like, okay, I think I can do it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. I know. I love that you're getting that experience firsthand now, so you can relate. But
which I'm finding actually very beneficial, obviously, like for my own health. And also like learning how everything is done here. And like, and then when I think I'll have a different trainer tomorrow to see like the different styles and like how they do. So that'll be interesting once I get trained by like everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to your feedback. Like I get a genuine, honest perspective. Yeah. Sometimes I worry clients aren't always honest, you know, so I'm like, I can't wait to see what you think. But
you also don't want to say anything like anything negative. But
right, exactly.
I'll be blind. Kind of like when I was having my the cardio and nutrition, and I was like, I know I have a problem. Not with the cardio. The cardio is okay. The nutrition part, I was like, I know food's gonna be an issue.
The hard part.
It's gonna be the hard part.
Yes.
I'm like, you want me to keep trying? I'm gonna try.
Yep. That's the hard part for everybody. Yep.
Because he asked me about it today before I got stretched. He's like, so are you keeping track of your nutrition? I'm like, I have kept track of it. However, am I hitting all the goals like the macros? Not quite, but we are being consistent with tracking it. So I feel like that's a good start.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I mean that is the client perspective. You know, like the clients start to learn as they come here long enough that the trainers are always going to ask about their activity outside of the studio, because we always say, you know, you pay for your time slot, you come in. That's definitely accountability, but then what about the other days of the week that you're not with us? We have to find a way to keep you on track and hold you accountable. So you'll get asked about your nutrition a lot.
So, I'm sure. So we're trying. I will say, I feel like I'm not someone who tends to eat overly bad. My problem is I probably eat too much. So this is probably helping me not overeat.
Yeah, that's a big part of it,
which
too,
I think is a huge
size.
start, because like I've cut back on like a lot of like the amount of sugar I eat, and like even like kind of reading labels beforehand to make sure I know what is in the product.
Yes.
I already kind of started making those changes a while ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we cover that with clients too. Like a lot of times they might think, but we give them a little extra knowledge on aspects of reading a food label, reading ingredients that maybe they haven't thought of that are helpful if you're trying to discern which protein bar or which stick of butter or anything like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, because my mom like made those changes a while, because she actually wanted to do it more before she went through menopause, to try to make sure she cut out like all the like bad hormones and stuff to help make the transition for her a lot easier. Yeah, she's like, you should really do it too.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, I know. There's I mean, obviously sound nutrition and exercise is linked to so much, but definitely more and more they're saying like hormone levels and everything are affected by, you know, your diet, and if you're eating things that inflame the body and everything else. So it's so important.
Plus, because I've never actually been someone who has struggled like with my hormones or had issues with it, I don't want to develop any issues with my hormones someday anyway. So it's just more of like, we're just going to be preventative.
That's right. Preventative medicine. That's right. That's good.
I'm trying to start early, right?
That's right. Absolutely. You're on the path to a lifestyle change. That's good.
Oh, what does a typical day look like for you at Axio Fitness?
Ah, man.
Because obviously your perspective is completely different since you're not training anymore.
I would say a typical day is usually lots of meetings. You know, there's a lot that go on that people don't realize, and honestly it cracks me up because if we have staff meetings, if I have a meeting with you or whatever, you know, especially staff meetings, if we say like, oh, we're having our staff meeting, you know, today at noon, then clients would always say, talk about what? You know what I mean? Like,
so there's a lot going on.
Exactly. But honestly, I feel like that's almost good. I find that is kind of cool. Like, you know, maybe we make it look so seamless on the front end, and they don't realize on the back end all the systems and all the ways we're trying to fine tune and perfect and improve whatever, anything from sales and marketing, as you know, to you know, improving our programming or our results, or the way that we hold people accountable, or the level of knowledge of our trainers, or our app and how we track things. So it's surprising, you know, I gave my calendar access to, you know, a couple of the different leaders in the company, so, you know, they could have it for different reasons. And they're like, man, you have a lot of meetings. Like, I know. So I think a typical day is just trying to meet with people. And I do think that I'm very big into leadership. I love it. I read books, I listen to podcasts, and I definitely want to be someone as a business owner that I think can make a positive impact, and I guess be a leader that could hopefully instill some knowledge and wisdom into somebody who, even if they don't stay with Axio forever, if they move on to different careers, that hopefully it would help them in any career they choose down the road. So, and I think that a part of what I've learned about effective leadership is just that one-on-one time and that connection and everything. So, aside from that, lots of emails.
Which I feel like comes with the territory of being a boss.
That's probably true.
Because I feel like I've heard that with many, like even different, like say like YouTube, because there's some YouTubers that we watch, and I remember her doing an interview, and she's like the under them, and even they said when they're not being filmed, they're predominantly in meetings. That's literally what they're doing. When they're not being filmed, because they have a whole team that helps with all the other stuff. They're literally just in meetings all day. She's like, it's not glamorous. I'm literally in meetings.
Right. And not only that, but meetings usually always produce like more to do, which I think is good and bad. You know what I mean? But it's like you sit down with someone and you talk about, okay, like, what's your feedback on the way we help clients on the cardio side of things? And then a trainer might have some really good advice. So then all of a sudden that prompts a to-do list. Like, let's talk to this person, and then let's change the way we track this. And then it becomes like more meetings and more work and everything.
Because at that point, you got to fine tune it.
Right, exactly, right.
Before you make it go live.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ryan said that I was his guinea pig for the new cardio.
Oh, yes, you were. Yeah, he said that he had fun doing your cardio test. I don't know if you had fun, but
yeah, it didn't bother me.
Yeah,
but because he was like, I'm gonna have you run a mile, and I was like, okay, I can do a mile.
Yeah,
I was like, I am gonna warn you, I might start cramping close to the mile, but actually that time I didn't.
Good.
I think a lot of times at home I will, but am I going past mile? So I was like, I don't know. But.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. And then when you retest in like 6 weeks, how the progress looks and everything, I'm excited to see how it goes.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I really wanted to do was work up my endurance.
Yeah.
Because my husband is very excited to do more hiking adventures.
That's
after
awesome.
we did the one in Tennessee.
Yeah.
He wants to do even more.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. That's again, back to the motivation, not pant sizes or whatever, you know what I mean? But stuff like that. That's really awesome.
It's more to have cooler experiences.
Yeah,
And so I don't die on a mountain.
Right, exactly. Just being able to do the things you want to do. Yeah, and not letting that stuff hold you back.
Of course, then he's showing me videos. He wants me to jump off the mountain. I was like, I don't know about that. He's like, but we'll do it together. And I'm like, can I just watch you? Do I really have to do it?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't know if I could do that.
I'm not an adrenaline junkie like him.
He's an adrenaline junkie. I can't even relate to that.
I mean, that's why he started. That's part of the reason why he started the tree business when he did.
Yeah.
Because it was like an adrenaline. Like you're climbing up the trees, you're harnessed all up, and then you're like the stress and like the logic behind getting the tree down.
Wow.
Piecing it like that. He just is really good
at that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's totally opposite of how I'm wired.
I don't do that. I would always, I'm like, you're insane. I'm like, you really want to climb a tree? You should have saw him when he was painting our chimney. He literally strapped himself up just like he was doing a tree.
Wow.
And then he's up there painting the chimney.
Wow.
I was like, that does not bother you? He's
that's
like,
crazy.
No.
Wow, that's impressive. I feel like he's a good person to know. I don't know. I know there's going to be a project someday at my house where I'm going to need that.
Oh, probably.
I always tease my team that like that handyman aspect is becoming a lost art.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
So when you know someone that can do those things, it's valuable.
Yeah. What are your goals for the future, both personally and professionally?
Oh man. Okay, so professionally, I would love to continue to expand Axio, and I always say, it's not with these, yes, I mean, sure, everybody's motivated a little bit to earn more, but it's not with these visions of like, man, what kind of like, how wealthy can I get or something, but really, I truly believe when I do see those clients like Janet that I mentioned, or the person that pulls me off to the side and says, I just lost 38 pounds with your company, it's the first time I'd met her, you know, that those people are everywhere. They're everywhere, you know, and so I just feel like the world needs more Axios. I just so firmly and strongly believe in what we do. That's the mission, is to be able to continue that and just continue to open locations and help people. And I think we do things differently. I know we do things differently, and I 100%. Think we do things better. And so the world needs us. And then on the other side of it, you know, just careers with the trainers. We have so many great people in the company, and I'd love to keep, you know, promoting them. I mean, I remember when I had one location, and I would, you know, I'd always share my vision. That's a good leadership tip, right? And so I always said, like, I want multiple locations and regional managers and all these different roles. And it's like, now we have that, you know, and it's just like, wow, it actually is happening, you know, it's great. And it's great to just take people that start out with us as personal trainers and be able to provide careers for them as well as just the way we do things differently with our trainers, how they don't have to be salespeople, self-promoters. I think that, again, there's a lot of people out there in the world that want to be trainers that I think would thrive in a business model like Axio. So those would definitely be the professional goals. I guess personal goals, I don't really know. I think just continue to challenge myself to be someone who learns, someone who serves, and hopefully be other person centered. And, you know, I'm a very faithful person, so I guess I always strive to just grow in my faith and be a better friend, be a better whatever sister, anything that I can to people. But beyond that, I don't know.
Nothing specific. No, I feel that too.
Yeah.
That's why my husband wants to bring me along in his ventures, and I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
Because I've always said, like, what I want is to eat good food.
Yeah. There we go.
There's me eat good food.
There we go.
Because even when we went just on to Tennessee for our vacation, my parents were like, well, what do you want to do down here? I was like, eat good food.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's literally why I vacation. I want to try good food. Like, that's what I want. That's what makes me happy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Eat good food.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
And then you have my brother's girlfriend who's like, yeah, I want to zip line, but then I want to do a mountain coaster, and then I want to go do this. And I'm just like, you are way too busy for me. Way too busy for me.
That's awesome.
But
that's awesome.
Dustin has to keep up with you, not me.
That's awesome.
Although I did zip line.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've done that. Again, I don't know if it's even something I could do now, but I've done it younger when I was more like your age. But
it actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, That's I remember that being the case for me too. It looks intimidating, all the heights and the long zip line and stuff, but it's not really that crazy.
No, because like you don't get that same stomach drop feeling that I despise.
I despise that too.
I don't like that.
I do too.
And you don't get it when you zip line. So after I did it, and I was like, oh, I didn't get that feeling. I was like, okay, this is okay. Right. Do I love being high? No. Because like, is that fear kind of still there that that it could break and then I could fall?
Sure.
Like
sure. Sure. That fear's still there.
It's still there, but it's not as prominent.
Right. Yeah, you still did it though. Good for you.
I did. Ryan's like, don't you feel proud? I was like, yeah. I felt prouder doing the mountain thing though. Yeah. And it was like the 11 miles up the mountain.
Oh, that's
the last part of it was like super steep. And every time I saw steps, I was like, oh my God, why? The steps were, I think, the worst part. Yeah. Like the times that there were the steep steps, because like when you're going up and it's steep, I thought that was a lot easier. Yeah. But like the steps, I'm like, these things suck. And Ren's like, come on. Come on.
I'm telling you, he'd make a good trainer.
He would. He's one of those people who's just naturally good at pretty much everything that he sets his mind to.
Yeah.
And he can teach himself pretty much how to do pretty much anything.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's really
the only thing that I found that he can't do is snap his fingers.
Oh, wow.
He can't snap his fingers.
I'm not great at it, but
you can at least get noise. Yeah. It sounds like this when he does it. I'm like, what are you doing? You're not snapping.
He's got to have one flaw, right?
Yep, and it's apparently snapping fingers. I guess if you're going to have a flaw.
That's right, exactly.
What advice would you give to someone who's considering starting their fitness journey?
I would say my advice would be just start, you know. I know that Axio Fitness may not be the solution for everyone, but there's something out there for everyone. I always say there's a million right ways to work out. And what's nice about our business model is we can, in a personal training session, do a bunch of different things. Yeah. But at the same time, like find out what you're into. Sometimes people will say, I know I need to get into shape, but I just hate walking or on the treadmill or something. And it's like, okay, so don't walk on the treadmill. Yeah. There's like a lot of other things.
There's like a million different things that you can do.
Exactly. So I would say just go for it. But I also encourage people to try different things, attend different classes or try different styles of workouts or modes of exercise. I mean, we have the internet, so there's tons of ideas out there. And even just little ways to get active. I mean, we're so sedentary as a culture. Everybody is just, sadly, these are we move our hand muscles and our thumb muscles. That's it a lot throughout the day. So if you can get into hiking or kayaking or spinning class or anything like that, you don't know what you might love until you try it. But I think also with that advice, a lot of times people don't love something the first time. So it is just kind of like, you have to get over that initial like, okay, if you're trying spinning, do it like 3 to 5 times or something, and then see if you really start to enjoy it. But
well, that I could see them also getting discouraged after they're sore.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yes.
You got to work through it though.
You got to work through that soreness. That's what we tell our clients, but the first couple of weeks are tough. But I used to love to take a client's like first workout and then a year later show them, and they would look at it and be like, man, I cannot believe that made me that sore. That would would not affect them at all a year later. You know what I mean? So it's amazing to see, but again, it's just that consistency with progress and everything.
I'm excited.
Good.
How do you stay motivated?
I would say that I stay motivated by mostly learning. So just reading, listening to podcasts. I think when I learn, that keeps me motivated. But I am someone that also tries to be intentional with like reflection and prayer and things like that. And I really feel like that keeps me motivated too, because it kind of keeps everything in perspective, and it keeps me thinking about the details of the job or the details of, my mission and things like that are important. So, but I always tell, the trainers, like, fuel your passion. I think you do have to be intentional about that. There's lots of old and new probably psychology studies out there that, someone might have a hobby that they love, and as soon as they get paid to do it, they enjoy it less, you know? And I think that you can see that sometimes in the personal training industry. But what I've found, and I think that the trainers would also agree with me, is you just have to intentionally fuel the passion through things like learning and challenging yourself and collaborating with others and that sort of thing. And I think just being thoughtful, being reflective, and all of that in all aspects of your job. So I think those things, definitely matter. I know in our in our Axio Fitness logo, it says personal, professional, passionate. And that passionate was in there for that reason. I think that even clients, they come with this, first few weeks it's soreness and hesitation, and then they start to fall in love with it. They start to feel amazing. But after a year or two, that motivation starts to ebb and flow a little bit. So it's the same thing. We have to fuel their passion, like change it up, teach them new routines, set new goals, new focuses, whatever. So I think it's definitely something that everyone has to be intentional about. And I do try to be intentional about that when it comes to owning a business. I mean, I'll definitely just, even if it's areas of the business that I'm not as interested in, technology, things like that, you know what I mean? Like, I still try to learn about it. I still try to think about it, and I know I said it at our last leaders meeting where it's like, hey, let's all just think big picture here. Let's just have fun and think like, how could we use AI to improve our business? Because it's something that, obviously I have zero interest in. But again, it's right.
I was like, I can help with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's your thing. That's your thing. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I'm diving head first into the AI. I'm finding it very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because even I'm using it for a lot of my own personal stuff.
Are you really? Yeah.
Yeah, business-wise too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. The most I know about AI is now when I Google things, it's like, here's your AI answer, and it's like pretty spot on. And I'm like, this is pretty crazy, but
it's doing all the legwork basically for you.
Yes. I
like that it can like automate things for you.
Yeah.
To help streamline like your processes and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I find really beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's more of like a business aspect, not really a training aspect.
Yes. Right. Definitely. Yes. And that's a good thing. We always say, kind of playfully, but we're serious that AI is not going to take our job because you just need that human touch to hold clients accountable.
You need someone to control it.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. AI is not going to spot you and correct your form, right?
No. Oh, I thought they were working on that for like the camera view type of thing.
Oh, is that
And then it could. I think they are trying to work on something.
Yeah. Right. I'm not. Wouldn't surprise me.
No. They'll get it at some point.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, if you can have like even like with VR and stuff, like the stuff they're doing with that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What's the most rewarding aspect of your job here?
Oh my goodness, that's so hard to say because it's like I don't know, it's two very obvious things. It's client results and careers in the industry. And I would say that they're both equal. Like I love helping clients get results, but I do love providing careers in this industry. I just I love when we get new trainers that fall in love with personal training, that fall in love with the company, that want to move up, and they're like, hey, I'm here long term, I'm all Axio all the way, and all of that. So that's so rewarding for me. So yeah, definitely those two things.
That's great. Awesome. That was my last question.